everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Pool Nation. This is a game about billiards, so now that if we wait about 5 seconds, 40% of the people who clicked on this video are going to disappear. Okay, now that it's just me and you guys, I'm going to let you know that I am actually an unabashed and unironic big fan of billiards. I like playing pool. My dad was a pool aficionado growing up, and eventually, as he got older, he got a pool table. We played all the time. I have very fond memories as an adolescent, teenager, and young adult. Of playing pool together with my family. So I've got an emotional connection to pool, but I also played a lot of video game pool when I was younger. On the Super Nintendo, I had a couple of pool games. I always loved playing like Yahoo Pool against my friends when I was in middle school, and I played probably like 300 hours of this PS1 game called Pool Hustler, which is I almost dropped asexually, which would have been a little weird here. But essentially the same game as Pool Nation, which just came out on Steam. It's $10. I like this. I like this a lot. I think that most people will probably find themselves very bored by it, but if you are also someone who has an unabashed love of billiards, this might be something that you can spend some time with. It's quite fun, in my opinion. Very good-looking game, pardon me, by the way, as well, and it treats the fact that it looks good in almost a weirdly, uncomfortably pornographic way that you'll see. So I'm going to go to single player. Normally, for most of these, I do say, oh, eventually we'll check out the online mode. I spend a little bit of time in online. You can set up tournaments. You can play quick matches against people in 8-ball or 9-ball. But there's nobody online. I waited for like 5 minutes to see if someone would quick match me. It did the thing where it's like, we couldn't find any matches. Do you want to host one? And I hosted one and waited another 5 minutes. Nobody came. So keep in mind that when it comes to multiplayer, you're going to be looking to ideally play this with your friends and set up your own games as opposed to relying on a community that is not necessarily there. In any case, let's get started. We'll start by playing some 9-ball. So the single player of the game is broken up into 4 tournaments across 2 different kinds of pool, 8-ball and 9-ball. If you're not familiar, 8-ball is also colloquially known as solids and stripes, or stripes and solids, where basically, each person of the 2 players has their set of balls, and once they sink those, they sink the 8-ball, aka the black ball, and that's it. 9-ball is just you gotta sink the balls in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Person who sinks the 9-ball wins. So we're gonna play that first, but we'll mix it up and we'll go to 8-ball afterwards. So, there's 12 missions, or 12 matches, I guess, per tournament, and each one gets increasingly difficult, but it's best of 1, so all you really need to do is win the match. It's a very casual game, actually. I find it less challenging than meditative, if that makes sense. It's a very relaxing game to play, and it does a very good job with its music of making that work as well, and the visuals, which are quite good, although the frame rate does seem to be suffering a little bit here, but this is mostly due to me recording with Fraps right now. So we have 2 different views that we can have. I'm using the 360 controller, but I would have to imagine that this controls fine with the keyboard and mouse as well. And left analog stick basically controls the angle of my cue. Y allows us to go to this like top-down viewpoint, which is quite nice as well in a lot of situations. By using the D-pad, we can set spin on the ball. So for example, I could set the spin very high there, or back in the middle. And by using right analog stick and pulling it back and then pushing it forward, kind of like the same way you hit a golf ball in Tiger Woods games now, you can push the cue forward and actually take your shot. So we'll see how things go here. Unfortunately for him, he actually missed that shot. So now we can actually start to play a little bit of pool, and I can start to get in kind of a meditative state and actually talk about what's going on with this game. Because one thing I will say is that, at least with the default aim assist, this game is pretty goddamn easy, and that's okay, because, you do have the opportunity to get rid of your aim assist, and we'll check that out in a little while. There's an example of kind of the cinematic angle you get sometimes. It feels pretty good when you get an angle like that, when you, especially if you're sinking a shot that looks increasingly difficult. With the, I think this is the novice level aim assist, we can see where our ball is going to go. We can skip by those cinematics, by the way. We can also see where the object ball is going to go, the ball that we hit, and that makes it very easy to just pot single balls into the pockets here, as you can see. Now, can we actually sink this one here? I think we probably can, but why don't we go for a trick shot? Well, not a trick shot, but a combination shot. So the way the 9-ball works, if you're not familiar, is you do have to sink the next ball, or you're ideally supposed to, I guess, sink the next ball in the sequence, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but you can also just strike the next ball first, and then sink whatever ball you want on a combination after that. So we're going to try to maybe sink this brown ball in the end here. Didn't really work, but you probably realized what I was going for there. So you can do trick shots and jump shots and swerve shots, as the game calls them. I probably just lost there. I did indeed. And this is actually a best of 3, which I have not seen in a tournament before, so I apologize for being a little bit ill-informed and saying that they are all best of 1s. In the 8-ball tournament that I actually completed all the way... that was really bad. That I completed all the way to, you know, victory, basically. It was entirely... That was a really... like, close to being a really amazing shot. But the 8-ball tournament, it was all single frame matches, which basically means, you know, if you win one game, that's it. You're good to go. So I prefer to play on this camera angle. I think it's one of those things where, you know, you got to trust the player a little bit to make the game as difficult for themselves as they're comfortable with. I am like moving very quickly here and making some mistakes as a result, but that's okay. Like I really don't like abusing this Yahoo pool style angle up here because it makes it a lot easier to actually see where your shots are going to land. So watch me just miss this one like immediately afterwards. No, that was a pretty good one. That's gonna be our next one, the 4 down at the end. So I much prefer not using that, even though I'm using it right now just to prove a point, and just kind of using like the normal view that you have when you actually play pool. It means that you're going to miss more shots, which is a hard thing to get used to as a player, but it's also much more satisfying when you actually get them in. Like, for example, let's try to get a bank shot here without actually looking at the overhead angle, and we'll see if this will work. I mean, obviously in pool, like when you're playing, you can actually get an overhead angle by looking at the table, but you can't see like a line that leads from your cue to where the ball's gonna go. That was an incredibly good shot, actually. You do get points as well. I can skip through his shots one by one here. I think he's about to win. Yep, he just kicked my ass. Let's retry here. I totally forgot what I was gonna say. You do get points for each shot as well, or each shot that actually ends up sinking. Ah, there we go. We got one. So, like a shot like this, which is relatively simple, that might give me 400 points. Ah, it gave me 1,200 points. Okay. I guess I gotta give myself some more credit. This is gonna be a very tough shot. I did go to the Yahoo pool angle here. I don't think it's possible for me to actually, sink the 2 on this deliberately, so I'm just gonna go for kind of a huge shot here and see what happens. I did sink 1. That might have been a scratch, though. No, it was a skill shot. Okay, whatever you say, game. Yeah, so skill shots are combinations or occasionally bank shots or both, as we're going to try to do in this situation. We can hold down the left bumper, by the way, and get a much finer kind of control that allows me to kind of more accurately... Like, I can really heave on the analog stick and it won't move that far. So this is much better for kind of minute adjustments. Whereas if I get rid of it, then you can see like that the same amount of force propels me across the table. This is a much needed addition to stop you from being like, okay, a little bit more, too far. A little bit more, too far. So I'm trying to think about how I want to do this one. Why don't we try something silly like this? And maybe we'll sink the 4 or the 6 or the 9. That's basically what I wanted to do there, in all honesty. It didn't actually work out, and nothing got sunk, but that's okay. And I'm going to speed through his shots. I really want to win this one. That shouldn't be too hard. Applying spin to the ball, very easy as well. You just, like, hold whatever you want on the D-pad, and then follow through on your shot, and you can see I got some reverse spin there, or back spin there, keeping me from just potting my... cue ball straight in the pocket. If you are not an aficionado of billiards, this is a game where it's also, you know, very easy to kind of learn the rules. It teaches you the rules well. There's basic tutorials in the game leading up to more advanced stuff like jump shots and trick shots, etc., etc. I actually have not checked them out yet, but I have seen that they exist. But there is not like an actual like, oh, that was really bad. I thought the backspin would be enough. I realized that it might be a little bit jarring to skip through his shots here, but I'm doing it. Oh, he sunk them all, basically. I'm doing it to kind of speed things up a little bit. But yeah, I haven't done through the tutorials, and there's not a tutorial level that you have to complete when you get started. The game kind of gives you your own agency to figure that out for yourself. Please tell me he doesn't just like run the entire table. There we go. So our next ball is back here. What we might want to do is, again, put a little backspin down here, and then hit it nicely. I like the cinematic angle. This is what I mean when I say the game kind of borders on, you know, pornography. Sorry, not pornography, pool pornography sometimes. Because, you know, you get close and it's like, you like my balls? Real shiny, aren't they? Shiny like my head. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. So it might make you a little uncomfortable at times. the way the game treats pool is, you know, much more fanatical than most people probably consider their billiards love. And that's fine. You know, the game is called Pool Nation. I thought it was maybe going to be like a Michael Phelps licensed swimming game at first, but much to my surprise and appreciation, it is not. So, this one, I think I just really want to hit this super light. Oh, I fucked it up real bad. He is going to run the table. All right, I'm mad because I'm bad. Let's exit out of this. If I have the opportunity to do so, I hit continue. So after you complete some of these levels, and I assure you, you know, I have completed them, depending on how many of the special objectives you finish, like you can see here, win the matches won, 7,000 match points, or like special shots, you have the opportunity to win things in these bonus levels. Like, for example, you know, these are a special set of billiards balls here. So we'll see what the conditions of the bonus match are. I actually don't know what they are. Is it first person to sink 30? That seems to be what I'm looking at. Oh, no, it might be like first person to get 30 points. Like each ball counts as a certain number of points. Oh, I don't know. Oh, you got to sink the ball in the pocket that it specifies? I don't know if I like that. We'll try it, though. So each one of these, you know, they do add a little bit of variety. There's some extra conditions. Some of them are just like, you know, see how fast you can clear the table. I have to sync them. This is confusing to me. Like, see how fast you can clear the table from start. And if you do it in less shots than it took your enemy, then that's fine. Okay, are we gonna... Maybe you have to call your shot? I really should have just read the instructions. And I am totally gonna use the Yahoo pool angle. So that should be points for us. That's 1. Okay. Maybe every ball is an associated pocket? Or, I mean, because right now it's like the pockets that I'm sinking it in do seem to be the easiest pockets to actually sink it in, so I don't know if that's special, but we'll just not ask too many more questions and instead just get on with our lives, basically. Please have enough momentum. Thank you very much. We should be able to win this one. Again, with the aim assist on, most of the levels are pretty easy, and I haven't really encountered catastrophic problems. Like, literally, that's probably the first time that I've lost 2 matches in a row. Are you kidding me? That's probably the first time that I've lost 2 matches in a row. Was against that guy that you just saw. Okay, so she's basically kicking my ass again. Incorrect ball potted. Well, it was a break. What am I supposed to do? All right, so we'll just do that, and she's up 11-4. It's really satisfying to get, like, you know, 8 and 9 ball runs here, or ball streaks as the game calls it. Well, where I come from, if you got ball streaks, that means it's time to start wiping front to back instead of back to front, but I don't want to be too gross. So we're just going to keep this up. And, you know, 30, it's a pretty long bonus level relative to a lot of the ones that I've done, but it goes pretty quick because, again, with the aim assist on, it's very easy to see, or it's very easy to figure out where these, you know, balls that you're hitting are actually going to end up. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of unintentional comedy based on, you know, deliberate misinterpretation of when I say balls in this video. And I'm okay with that. I'm down with that kind of humor. So, I have just surpassed her, and it seems like, you know, you can pretty easily run the table. I didn't even see that shot went in. I just assumed. Okay, that was kind of lucky. But the break is really where things are going to get difficult, because I don't think I have a very good chance at all of, like, guaranteeing any pots here. But let's see. And, of course, I keep getting scratches for, like, hitting the incorrect ball. Okay. Oh, she potted the incorrect ball. Okay. So I guess for this, like, no combination shots are available. You know, the bonus levels, they're fine. I don't care at all about the unlockables. I don't care about unlocking a set of balls that have stripes on them. Like, to give me the vanilla balls. That is probably the most unintentional innuendo. Of course, maybe I'll title the video, like, check out my balls or something like that, and then it'll get 12 million views, and I'll be a happy man. But let's just put this in here, and we are up to 20 out of 30 necessary pots here, which should be easy. What I was getting at, though, is that I don't really like the... or I like the bonus levels, but I don't really care, if you will. I like the variety that they offer, but I'm not sitting here like, I gotta get 100% in Pool Nation. I much prefer just kind of playing the tournament style. And there is another mode called Endurance as well. We're 6 away, which means we're gonna have to, like, live through another break, I think. But I am in the zone right now. Don't talk to me. This is how you hustle. Like, you throw it first, and then afterwards, you just clear the table, and all of a sudden you are the master of pool. This is actually doing a really good job of illustrating the fact that the aim assist makes this so easy, but it's kind of like it's a Splinter Cell Blacklist situation. I'm just gonna wait until she fucks up. Oh, she already did fuck up. It's kind of like a Splinter Cell Blacklist situation. It's just like, don't necessarily judge the ease of this game based on how easy it is on normal, right? On its default difficulty. That should be a win for me then. Fantastic. So I've unlocked that new set of billiard balls. And also a new decal, which I can put on the table, which is meaningless. Let's play a game of 8-ball here quickly, and why don't we do it at the Sky Lounge Cup, and we'll play, I don't know, one of these people from like the mid-game here. Okay. It looks like the lady from Storage Wars, but if we play with the aim assist off, it becomes substantially more difficult. I don't know if we can actually change that while we're playing here. I think that might change as we get like further into the tournament. So yeah, let's just quickly like speed through this game of 8-ball so that you know what's going on. And I'll just, whenever she's going, I'll just skip through her shots and take it at face value that she's not cheating. Get this in here. Music, it's fine. It's very, you know, it's kind of a relaxing experience. And, you know, the music reminds me a lot of the music in a game like Defy Gravity, which was weird in Defy Gravity because that was a game that was like a physics-based puzzler kind of, whereas in this, you know, it seems like ambient music seems to make more sense in a game like this because you're playing a kind of ambient game. Like, you don't need a hard-driving Trials Evolution or Gas Guzzler's extreme-style music. That was a terrible shot right there. But luckily, she is even more terrible than I am, so we'll be able to sink this and move on. And for winning the tournaments, you know, what do you unlock? You unlock new areas to play the game, and you unlock other tournaments. There's never going to be a point when you're playing this game if you're not a fan of billiards. You know, I'm just going to actually exit this one or forfeit this one. Hopefully, yeah, that I was wondering if that would take me past the main menu. But I'm going to show you the endurance mode here. It's not particularly interesting, but it does allow you to see what happens when you change your aim assist. So we can either go with Novice, Veteran, which causes like the lines to be a little smaller, Pro causes the lines to be very small, or we can play without any assist at all, which is a real problem, and we can customize ourselves here. And you can see the difficulty from using no aim assist versus using the Novice aim assist very clearly. I will probably be lucky to sink a single shot here, in all honesty. So the way that the endurance mode works... Oh, maybe I did sink one. The way that the endurance mode works... Oh, Jesus. Okay. Is that... Wait a minute. As you can see the timer down there. Basically, that timer is going to cause... Yeah, that was terrible. When that blue meter hits its peak, it's going to cause another ball to spawn on the table. If there are 24 balls on the table, I lose. Oh, I can't believe I actually sunk one there without an aim assist. It's much harder than it looks, I promise you that. You can still do the finite adjustments, but it's not easy. Although I did almost sink another one there. It's almost like the difference between like playing pool on like a kid-sized pool table and playing snooker. Like, this is substantially more difficult. That being said, it is also substantially more rewarding in my opinion, so I like playing on this mode when I get the chance. But yes, what I was trying to get at with Pool Nation is basically that if you don't like pool, you're not going to like this game, and you should have known that already. But if you even have a passing interest in pool and you feel like you can get a couple of hours out of enjoyment out of playing against the AI, I would encourage you to pick this up. I've been having a good time with it so far. I find it very relaxing. This is my meditation, you know. I don't go to the temple. I don't consider myself a Buddhist. I'm not a religious man. I go to the temple of Pool Nation for a couple hours, and you know, that is money well spent for me. That was a total accidental shot. It is $10 on Steam. You know, from an audiovisual standpoint, the $10 cost seems justified. From a gameplay standpoint, are you going to get 100 hours out of Pool Nation? Almost certainly not. So, you know, just know that going in, I guess. Let's see if we can maybe get a long pot here. I would be exceptionally lucky. That was terrible. But we're doing better than I thought I would, actually, so I'm okay with that. And it's making that annoying beeping sound because, again, once we hit 24 balls on the table, we actually lose. But you do have like a special meter, which causes time to go up more slowly. And this is only when you tap out. And this gets filled by things like successful shots, but mostly also skill shots. So this would be a very satisfying shot for me if I got it in, but it wasn't even close. You wouldn't know that I actually have, you know, the hundreds of hours of billiards experience just from watching me play this non-aim assisted mode right now. But hopefully We will get lucky on that one. Nope. So we're almost certainly going to tap ourselves out now. You can't skip through these animations, by the way, when you're on endurance mode. So that was just kind of a Hail Mary to see if it worked. All right, so we didn't make anything happen there. But that's fine. I think that's really all that needs to be said about Pool Nation. I like it a lot. Endurance mode is everything but the single-player tournament modes I consider kind of a write-off. I don't really play them at all. Maybe if some of my friends, you know, Josh or Nick, buy Pool Nation, then I'll play them online, but we'll definitely play with the aim assists on low. Otherwise, it's just kind of like who's in the best position and who can set themselves up for the best shots using their spin and stuff like that. It would have been nice to have, like, I mean, I guess there is like a trick shot mode, box of tricks in here. I'm not sure if that's actually DLC or if you have to beat all of the other tournaments to actually unlock it. I would love to just have that right off the bat to provide some extra variety, because it does get a little bit, you know, grindy to play against the AI continuously. Not much of an online community that I've seen so far, so if you are planning on playing this online, make sure to pick up 2 copies so that you can get one for your closest friend and or enemy. But in any case, I like Pool Nation. It's pool, and I like pool. I like Pool Nation. Maybe I don't agree with the idea of making the entire nation out of billiards. Like, I like other things. Hamburgers, for example. Various kinds of mustard. Doesn't all necessarily need to be about billiards, in my opinion. But in any case, there will be a link in the video description to pick up the game on Steam if you're interested. As mentioned, I believe it is $10. It might be $8 for its opening week sale. I did pick this up, you know, full disclosure, with my own money. This is not a review copy from the developer. That's how into billiards I occasionally am, once or twice every 5 years. And it's cool to like sports games, kids. Don't let the nerds on the internet get you down. If you want to play billiards, you want to play Madden, you want to play FIFA, rugby, whatever, man, go ahead. I like sports games, and I hate that people rag on them for being the same thing every year. But in any case, that's largely true. But still, they're like big strategy games with real people in them, and nobody dies. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the episode in spite of my rambling and sniffing, as always, I encourage you to click the like button. It does help me out a lot and help spread my video throughout YouTube. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more first impressions like this in the future. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.